How 16 army generals were unjustly eased out of service despite Malami'S intervention. Welcome to the news, and please subscribe to our channel if you have not done so. Please listen to the end. 9 major generals and 7 brigadier generals arbitrarily sacked by the Nigerian army in 2016 for not justifiable reasons have been technically eased out of the service despite the intervention of Attorney General of the Federation (AGF) and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami. PR Nigeria gathered that the affected generals have reached their run-out date this year and cannot be reinstated into the military even after the resolution of the National Assembly, Nass, and several courts ordered their reinstatements, which were frequently ignored by the Nigerian army. The affected military generals were among the 38 army officers that were compulsorily retired on June 2016 without any cogent reason. The officers, technically eased out of the service while waiting for justice are Major Generals F.O. Ali, E.J. Atawe, I.N. Ijoma, L.C. Ilu, T.C. Ude-L, Wiwa, S.D. Aliyu, M.Y. Ibrahim, and O. Ejimai. The Brigadier Generals are Adiyem Onoye Ivita, A.S.O. Momoni Bashar, A.S.H. Said L.M. Bello, K.A.S.N, B.A. Fibio Inumama, and I.M. Lawson, Meanwhile, 3 Brigadier Generals D. Abdusalam, A.I. Onibasa, and G.O. Agachi can still be reinstated as they still have active years to serve. Several attempts by Malami'S senior advocate of Nigeria to solve the impasse between the army generals and the army authorities were also futile. PR Nigeria gathered from credible investigation that the Army Council, then presided by the 3 of Mr. Mohammed Mansoudan Ali, then Minister for Defense, General A.G. Olunsaki, then Chief of Defense Staff, and Lieutenant General T.Y. Buratai, then Chief of Army Staff, sat and announced the compulsory retirement of the 38 Army officers. The announcement of a compulsory retirement of the 38 officers was made via the media even before the affected officers were eventually informed by text message of their retirement, sources revealed to PR Nigeria. While announcing the compulsory retirement to the media, the Nigerian Army claimed that the 38 Army officers that were compulsory retired have been investigated and found professionally corrupt in defense procurement and/or election-related offences in the 2015 general elections. But one of the sources with vast knowledge on the case maintained that none of the 38 Army officers that were compulsory retired was ever investigated or court-martialed before their public compulsory retirement. The source, a senior 7 military personnel who asked not to be named, said none of the affected officers was ever at any time before their public compulsory retirement queried, notified of any culpability, or subjected to any military police investigation, and none was ever court-martialed. These are the mandatory disciplinary processes of the military as recognized by the law. The Army records will show that none of the 38 Army officers that were compulsorily retired was ever charged with any infraction in accordance with Express Procedures and Armed Forces Act, CAP A20, the laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004. Another source, while confiding in PR Nigeria, said that after their public retirement, many of the victimized officers wrote to the army leadership under Lieutenant General Buratai, asking to be furnished with facts that constitute any alleged offence as stated in their respective letters of compulsory retirement. But regrettably, the army failed to respond to this simple request over 5 years now. Some of the affected officers also sent letters of redress to both the Senate and the House of Representatives on the victimization of the 38 Army officers. The Nigerian Congress, through their respective public petition committees, investigated the matter and were shocked that the Army could not provide any allegation of wrongdoing against the officers whose careers were publicly cut short. After the respective investigation of the matter, both houses had admonished the Nigerian Army over arbitrary disengagement of officers without any wrongdoing and due process, and warned that such abuse of office would discourage serving officers and soldiers from giving their full commitment to the service of the nation. Both chambers of the National Assembly further recommended the immediate reinstatement of the affected officers. The resolution were duly forwarded to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and the Chief of Army Staff, but this resolution of Congress have been completely ignored, which indicates a deliberate pattern of abuse against these innocent officers, he said. Checks by PR Nigeria indicates that after the refusal of the Nigerian army to reinstate the officers based on the resolution of the National Assembly and court orders, Malami, through the Solicitor General of the Federation and Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Justice, wrote letters and reminders to the military authorities in October 2019, November 2020, and even in February 2021, seeking clarification over grave acts of injustice and unlawful compulsory retirement from service senior officers. In one of the letters, which was also cited by PR Nigeria, Malami reminded the army chief that he was yet to receive any response for the initial letter he had sent, in order for him to advise Mr. President appropriately. This is quite shocking and alarming, that officers who the army has refused to say their offenses or their grievances, and these particular officers were not even tried, they were not court-martialed, nothing, they were just sent home like that. Imagine you serving your nation for a period of time and it was cut short, even without giving notice, no query, no court-martial, nothing. They just tell you, pack your bags and leave. How devastating it would be. And it is even more devastating that the army has even refused to tell them, okay, this is the offense. So that you can even know, okay, fine, this is my offense. You have not in any way said anything, despite all the pleas. And here, I think the Nigerian army themselves are the best people to answer this question, because even the said people now that we are set to go home, they do not have a clue, except maybe they have a clue and they are not saying it. But if really the army was to send them home, I think the best thing to have done or have been done is to allow these officers to know their crimes, at least know their crimes, so that, oh, I'm going home because this and this and this happened, and not just go home like that. I mean, that's the kind of state they're in now is not helping. And it is not where anybody wants to be. Imagine you're working and you've been putting in your energy and efforts in a particular company. You have been growing it and all. You've been serving the company with all your heart. And all of a sudden, you just get there one day. Not that the economy is bad. This one, no. They tell you, is the economy bad? No. You're the only one leaving. And you keep asking yourself, what could you have done wrong? Not giving that particular person a closure, or not giving this person's closure, it will even make things worse. It will make things worse. It is really saddening. I believe the military also have their own laws too, but I also believe that they have the right to know whatever crime they committed. On this note, we have come to the end of the news. We say thank you for tuning in to listen until I come your way next time.